The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the September public meeting. I'm Linda Muma, a Public Information Officer with CalRecycle. If you haven't tuned in for a while, we've made some changes to the format to serve the public better with communication that is as accessible, inclusive, and plain language as possible. Today's meeting will include a structured format with the goal of setting a context for the critical work that CalRecycle does, that many of you do, and to make some important announcements. So we welcome your feedback as we continue to improve our public meetings. Before we get started this morning, a quick mention to those who wish to submit questions and comments on an agenda item to please send them to the public comments portal. You can find the portal on the CalRecycle homepage. From the top menu bar, select Get Involved and then Public Meeting. And the text near the bottom of the page, click Public Comment Portal. And then from the drop-down menu, select the first option, which is Monthly Public Meeting, to type your name, your email address, and subject or agenda item, and submit your question or comment. Please keep them agenda specific and brief, and we'll address your comments during the public comment period a little later this morning. Our first agenda item today is the Director's Report. CalRecycle Director Rachel Wagoner is here with a few big announcements and a look at some of the local progress that California communities are making in the statewide fight against climate change. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Linda. Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you all for joining us today. As we head into the final months of 2021, we are beginning our 2021-2022 budget year. And with that, there is so much to look forward to. To help facilitate the important work that California is doing and that CalRecycle is doing to help fight climate change, and now to build the circular economy. Governor Newsom and the legislature are investing in the circular economy here in California, and we will be building the foundation for a global circular economy through investments in innovation and infrastructure that will bring new green companies and new green jobs to California communities, while helping to fight climate change and preventing trash from polluting the state's environment and harming public health. Moving towards a circular economy is absolutely imperative for California to meet California's waste diversion and climate goals. By recognizing waste as a resource and bolstering the state's focus on reducing, reusing, and recycling materials that otherwise would have been thrown away or exported to other states and nations, California can build a more resilient and renewable economy right here in our state for our state. The budget includes $130 million over the next 2 years that will spur the growth of a new circular economy here. We are making investments in our RMDZ loan programs for organics infrastructure. We are investing in community composting, infrastructure in organics waste, and making further investments in food waste prevention and recovery. As we all know, 1 in 4 Californians today goes hungry every day. We need to make further investments to help support our community members. Additionally, we will be making another $70 million in organics infrastructure investments and $60 million grants to local jurisdictions to help with their 1383 compliance. We are very, very excited at CalRecycle to be building out the infrastructure for organics recycling, as well as plastics, glass, and other materials. As we move forward, we are hoping to engage with you, our stakeholders, and our communities in building that infrastructure. Recently, I had the opportunity to travel to Los Angeles to see some of the organics infrastructure that has been built there. And right now, I think we have a video to show you what we were able to see while we were there.
From wholesale produce markets to surplus food giveaways, curbside recycling programs to neighborhood gardens.
We actually compost here on site.
That's what she was telling us. It's amazing.
On site.
Californians are uniting to fight climate change by cutting methane emissions from organic waste rotting in landfills.
We are dealing with the largest disaster in the history of humanity.
And offering new hope for the future of our planet. In Los Angeles and communities across the state, public-private partnerships are driving climate progress.
We just had a great tour of the wholesale market down in Los Angeles, getting to do that with Food Forward and get to see their relationships with these growers and these distributors and see what those relationships translate to in food recovery and rescue. 1 in 4 Californians today is going hungry every day, and at the same time, California is throwing away 1.8 billion still edible meals every year.
To cut waste that causes landfill methane emissions, California's climate law, going into effect on January 1st, requires wholesalers, grocery stores, and other food businesses to donate their surplus, still fresh food to Californians in need.
What we do is we go ahead and collect all the donations available throughout here in the LA area and in the growing areas in Southern California. We aggregate it, consolidate it, and create mixed loads of produce to our recipient agencies.
Successful implementation of SB 1383 is the biggest change to our trash since we started recycling in the 1980s. This is such an exciting opportunity for California.
The law also requires cities and counties to provide organic waste recycling services to every resident and business in the state. So communities can turn trashed food, yard, and other organic waste into valuable new products like renewable energy or compost for healthier soils that retain more water, nourish more crops, and pull planet-warming carbon from the air.
To have healthy air, we need healthy plants and healthy trees. They will not be healthy in soils that have been baked dry and have had no organic matter returned to them after years.
Soil health should be a priority just as much as the health of our communities, and the two go hand in hand.
This is, looking like soil.
Californians coming together to fight climate change. One decision, one relationship, and one community at a time.
That's when you eat fruits and vegetables.
As you can see, we had a fantastic time while we were down there, really engaged with people who care so immensely about what is our imperative under SB 1383, but truly what is our imperative to help save our planet, our communities, and really make true investments in organic waste recycling and recovery to the benefit of each and every one of us and our neighbors. So I really encourage all of you to engage with us as we start to build out some of these grant programs and moving forward on facilitating and solicitation of these grant programs. We're really hoping that all of our stakeholders are engaged in that so we can maximize those dollars to the benefit of the entire state. Thanks so much, Linda.
Thank you, Rachel. We have so much to celebrate right now. So make sure to stay tuned for an inside look at a cutting edge compost facility in the San Joaquin Valley that's helping Northern California cut its greenhouse gas emissions. And moving on now, the impact of climate change has been on everyone's mind as we watch another devastating season of wildfires. Deputy Director Tina Walker is here now with how California is transitioning from the 2020 wildfire cleanup to recovery from this series of wildfires. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning, Linda. The Department's Emergency Debris Recovery Office was established in anticipation of the continued need for wildland fire recovery efforts. What was once a program staffed by internal and external volunteers is now a designated program staffed full-time by dedicated and trained personnel working year-round to remove disaster debris and help individuals and communities recover from catastrophic disasters. Our current statewide debris removal operation following the 2020 wildland fire siege is approaching completion, with over 99% of the properties cleared of structural debris and nearly 2/3 returned to homeowners for rebuilding. This year's wildland fire season began early and has already significantly impacted 10 Northern California counties and approximately 1,500 properties. As the Dixie Fire continues to burn and proves to be the largest single source fire in the state's history, CalRecycle has already accepted the mission to assist with the resulting recovery needs. We've solicited consultants and contractors to conduct debris removal work and will award a contract for our assessment and monitoring consultant this week. The assessment and monitoring consultant will deploy within days and begin to assess and prepare parcels for debris removal crews who will join the mission by mid-October. Operational oversight is conducted by both CalRecycle and CalOES, and our consultants independently monitor all work conducted by contractors and hire independent arborists to determine which trees are a threat to the public at large. This multi-level checks and balances protects the integrity of the publicly funded program and ensures that work is done safely and efficiently. These operations are complex, and CalRecycle appreciates public and private sector partners who contribute to the success of these missions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Tina. Now to our next agenda item regarding the Recycling Commission recommendations. California is taking bold steps to address the extreme impacts of climate change and trash pollution in our communities. CalRecycle Policy Director Zoe Heller joins us now to break down the proposed policy solutions from California's Statewide Commission on Recycling, Markets, and Curbside Recycling. Good morning, Zoe.
Good morning, Linda. The California Recycling Market Development Act established a statewide commission to develop policy recommendations to achieve the state's market development and policy goals and identify products that are recyclable and compostable and regularly collected in curbside recycling programs. Per statute, CalRecycle convened the Statewide Commission on Recycling Markets and Curbside Recycling. We appointed 17 representatives of public agencies, private solid waste enterprises, and environmental organizations that have expertise in recycling. The Commission held its first meeting on June 24, 2020. Since then, the Commission and its 4 committees, which included recycling, organics, market development, and labeling and media, have conducted over 79 meetings, have spent over 200 hours in publicly broadcasted meetings working on recommendations to improve California's recycling system, and submitted a recommendation report to CalRecycle. The committee submitted its final recommendation report this summer on July 1st, which included 30 policy proposals addressing a wide range of issues impacting California's recycling and solid waste system. Here's Commissioner Co-Chair Richard Valle with a breakdown of the recommendations.
Hi, I'm Richard Valle, the Vice Chair of the Statewide Commission on Recycling and President of Tri-State Community Recycling. I'm also a member of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. In these few minutes, I'm going to give you a very high-level overview of the work that the Recycling Commission has been engaged in since our inception, as well as the obstacles and legislation that we have publicly vetted since coming together in June 2020 during COVID. Governor Newsom signed Assembly Bill 1583, sponsored by Susan Eggman. This bill established the California Statewide Commission on Recycling Markets and Curbside Recycling. The commission consists of 17 commissioners that represent public agencies, private solid waste industries, and environmental organizations that have expertise in recycling. Our chair is Heidi Sanborn, who heads the National Stewardship Action Council. The commission is an advisory body. We do our best to carefully review any recommendations and publicly vet our conversations, allowing ample time for public input on any of the policy recommendations that we want to move forward to the state legislature. The meetings are facilitated by CalRecycle staff who help us navigate Bagley-Keene, the public meeting law, and when they can, they help us research information and history of the issues that are presented. Our main charge is to recommend policies to help CalRecycle meet the state policy goals on achieving 75% reduction of solid waste through source reduction, recycling, or composting activity here in California. We recommend policies to meet market development goals. We recommend policies to help CalRecycle meet the methane emission reduction goals by reducing organic materials disposed in landfills. We identify products that are recyclable or compostable that are regularly collected in curbside collection programs. And we provide feedback to CalRecycle on public messaging designed to encourage proper recycling and minimize contamination in curbside recycling programs. The obstacles that we have encountered at the outset of the seating of the Commission included the outbreak of COVID, which has restricted our meetings to online gatherings, and the closure of 53% of the buyback recycling centers in the state of California. That's a huge obstacle. That was due to many companies going bankrupt or losing their leases and their inability to keep up with rising overhead costs of operations. This means that the California bottle bill is in dire need of help and stability. The losers in the closure of buybacks are you, the people of the state of California who cannot redeem their plastic bottles, cans, and plastic containers and get back your nickels. The general public is also talking about and hearing about the waste created by the plastics that we use and discard every day. Third world countries are receiving and having to deal with exported plastics by the United States and the state of California, which causes hazardous waste and contamination in waterways and living conditions in those countries. The Commission, with the support of Assemblymember Cristina Garcia, pressed the state to pass Assembly Joint Resolution Number 4. In essence, it is a resolution in support of the Basel Convention that opposes the dumping of hazardous waste, including plastics, on third world countries. The Basel Convention is a collection of countries united in the war against global plastic pollution and the shipment of waste to third world countries. Another important policy recommendation that the Commission supports is SB 244, to stop the illegal dumping of lithium-ion batteries. Several recycling operations have suffered fires due to the ignition and illegal disposal of lithium batteries in recycling and solid waste containers. At TriSet, where I work, we have had several fires due to lithium batteries, and this year we lost a $300,000 truck due to a battery-caused fire. These are some of the circular economy bills that our Commission is watching. SB 343 by Senator Ben Allen, the Truth in Labeling Bill. This bill would prohibit the use of those chasing arrows and the word recyclable on many consumer products, which is a false message that gives the impression to the general public that everything that has a chasing arrows and is labeled recyclable is actually recyclable. This is just not the case. This bill will help us better understand the reality of what is really recyclable and what isn't. Another bill, AB 881, which is in principle in concert with the Basel Convention, will in essence prohibit the export of mixed plastic waste to other countries that will be landfilled, burned, dumped, or be poorly managed. Mixed plastics will no longer be eligible to count towards diversion goals by jurisdictions or companies that export these materials. That's the high-level look at what the Commission does and the issues and challenges that we are facing. Thank you so much for allowing me to bore you with these details, and take good care of yourselves. Take care. Bye.
Thank you to Richard and to all the other commissioners. You can find the full Commission recommendations at calrecycle.ca.gov/markets/commission. Turning now to local implementation of Senate Bill 1383. CalRecycle publishes new tools and resources to assist local governments and businesses in meeting their organic waste recycling and surplus food recovery requirements. Our new page details eligibility for department-issued waivers and exemptions. CalRecycle also posted a breakdown of record-keeping requirements and new tools to make that easier. We are seeing more and more communities take the necessary steps to comply with SB 1383 and reduce their landfill methane emissions. Today, we want to take you inside a new upgraded compost facility in the San Joaquin Valley. It's now able to take in more organic waste from more communities, and still, demand for their compost is outpacing supply.
This is what comes off your garden, your streets, the trees out front. Any type of pruning that you do, this is where it ends up.
Near the small San Joaquin Valley community of Vernalis, this business is going big to take on the climate crisis.
We're one of the largest compost facilities in the country.
And new upgrades at Recology's Blossom Valley Organic site will now help even more California communities cut climate pollution by recycling their food, yard, and other organic waste.
It's coming from all over the valley and in the Bay Area.
Landfilled organic waste emits 20% of California's methane, a climate superpollutant with 84 times more heat-trapping power than carbon dioxide. Starting January 1st, California will require cities and counties to stop landfilling and start recycling this material into beneficial new products like green energy and compost.
It's a lot of fun to be able to say that we've taken 2 million tons out of the landfill. That's pretty awesome.
And thanks to $10 million in new investments,
you can see these high-pressure water guns.
Recology's compost facility is now leaner.
We're going from 124 acres down to 61 acres.
More efficient.
We went from a 90-day process of composting to a 60-day compost.
And more effective.
We're getting a better quality material out of the arid static pile than we would just normal windrow operation.
It's going to help keep this organic waste out of landfills, to help reduce methane generation, to help our climate problem. Also, it controls odors better because now they have biofiltration.
The cutting-edge compost facility added more capacity to help more cities and counties comply with organics recycling requirements.
We process up to 1,100 tons a day. Eventually we'll have enough arid static pile to process 2,000 tons a day.
Reducing landfill methane emissions by transforming waste into a valuable resource.
You hear a lot about drought in California, and what compost does for soils is it retains water. So a lot of farmers will put this compost right directly, apply it right onto their fields.
Turning dead dirt into live, healthy soil.
It's definitely the future of composting.
Pulling carbon from the air.
We team up with the farming community
to give more nutrients to California's food crops that feed more than half of the United States.
We have orchards, high crop. We have vineyards that buy from us. We have cities that use it for their parks at 100,000 tons a year. We sell out every year. We can't make enough compost to serve the valley right now.
That could soon change as more communities turn to compost to fight climate change while creating healthier soil, air, water, and food.
We are constantly adding more tools and guidance, so make sure you're signed up for our short-lived climate pollutant listserv. You can find all of these pages, tools, and resources by going to our short-lived climate pollutant page. Please continue to reach out to CalRecycle for any technical assistance regarding SB 1383 implementation. We remain available for meetings and presentations.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Zoe. As a reminder, for those who may have just logged on and would like to submit a question or a comment on an agenda item, to do so through the public comments portal. You can see the 3 steps here on your screen. Please keep your submission brief and make sure to indicate which agenda item you are addressing so that we can direct your message to the appropriate person. Ken and Zoe will be taking your questions and comments during the public comment period coming up a little bit later. Moving on now to the State Beverage Container Recycling Program. Through this program, Californians recycle more than 18 billion bottles and cans last year. CalRecycle is working to push that number even higher. Chief Deputy Director Ken DeRosa is here with some of the actions that CalRecycle is taking to make sure that more beverage containers are recycled into valuable new products in California. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Linda. Thanks very much for the introduction. I would first like to begin by inviting Assistant Director Amy Cameron to join us. Very happy and excited to announce Amy Cameron's appointment to the Division of Recycling. That occurred on August 24th. Amy started work with us last week. Just a little bit about Amy's background. Prior to her appointment to CalRecycle, Amy served as the Chief Deputy Director for the California Conservation Corps, and she was there from 2015 until her appointment here. Prior to that, Amy was an education administrator for the California Department of Education from 2013 to 2015, and senior administrative analyst for the City of West Sacramento, Port of Sacramento from 2007 to 2012. She was an education programs assistant and special programs coordinator at CDE from 03 to 07, and an AGPA at California Department of Education from 2001 to 2003. In addition, Amy was an aide to Yolo County Supervisor Mike McGowan from 1999 to 2001, and an office manager at Sacramento Loaves and Fishes from 1994 to 1996. Amy comes to us with a master's in organizational management from the University of Phoenix. And as you can tell from that background, a rich and deep background in state administration and program administration, as well as work with local governments. And so Amy really comes to us with a broad skill set and experience, and we're very excited to have Amy here leading a terrific team. And in the couple weeks that we've been working together, Amy, you've demonstrated a readiness. You're a quick read on some of the complexities of this program, and that's greatly appreciated. We're very excited to welcome you here, and I'll turn it to you for a few words.
Thank you, Ken, for that introduction. That was very lovely. As Ken mentioned, I was with the California Conservation Corps for 6 years and had a terrific experience there promoting workforce development through conservation work. And as he also mentioned, I have about 20 years experience in state and local government. So I'm really excited to bring all the tools that I've learned throughout my career and join the CalRecycle team. Everybody I've met here has been so welcoming and really helping me gain my knowledge about CalRecycle and the important work that we do for the state of California. I look forward to working with all of our stakeholders to improve recycling in California, and I hope to meet all the important stakeholders soon. And with that, I will close up so that we can get back to the important agenda. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Amy. So among the many exciting programs and projects Amy will now be leading includes CalRecycle's pilot project program. CalRecycle approved 5 local pilot projects to help communities test innovative new methods of CRV redemption. Encouraged by their success, the legislature and the governor authorized CalRecycle to approve 5 additional pilot projects. We're accepting those applications now. Director Wagoner was in Southern California earlier this month with that announcement, and we have a video here about that visit.
We are here to show the success of Culver City's pilot project and to encourage other jurisdictions in California to apply to the 5 additional pilot projects that were authorized by the legislature and the governor.
We came up with the idea to have a mobile recycling center to alleviate the stress on any particular neighborhood and to also afford recycling opportunities to people who can't necessarily, get in a car.
This was a no-brainer for the council. We love to be first in things that make sense.
By providing mobile recycling, they are providing an opportunity in different neighborhoods of Culver City to redeem and recycle their beverage containers.
So it's very efficient and it's been very successful.
These pilot projects allow all sorts of different creative solutions to be tested in different communities.
I'm a big believer in regionalism. So when we have the opportunity to solve our own problems with having an efficient and convenient way to recycle, and also solve our neighbors' problems by reducing the amount of driving around to find recycling centers and that sort of thing, and to help the state in reaching our overall goals, I think you take it.
About 8 months, we recycled close to 1.3 million beverage containers. So it's been a great success and we're hoping to expand.
As I get out into various communities in California, that is what I'm seeing, is this community partnership from local government to state government to private and nonprofit industry participating together to build something that's truly successful.
My recommendation would absolutely be to reach out to CalRecycle and try to set up a pilot program in your own city. It's been a great benefit to Culver City.
Very good. So in the spirit of a comment that was made in the video, I do want to inform everyone that California cities, counties, or regional partners who want to learn more about these new pilot project opportunities can join CalRecycle for an informational webinar on September 29th from 10 a.m. to noon. It'll be about 2 hours. We'll dive into eligibility requirements, funding assistance, the application, and the certification processes. We'll also answer any questions you have about the program. So please keep an eye out for an upcoming announcement about that. You can also join our listserv, Beverage Container Recycling Program, general information, to receive more details about that. Turning now to a notice that was released on September 15th. We want to talk briefly about processing payments. Statute requires the department to establish a processing payment and a processing fee for any beverage container type that has a scrap value less than the cost of recycling. CalRecycle makes processing payments to processors who then pay recyclers the entire processing payment. The legislature authorized that the department can adjust the processing payment quarterly if certain conditions are observed, including if the average scrap value for a specific beverage container material type for the most recent available 12-month period is 5% more or less than the statewide average scrap value used as the basis for the processing payment in effect. Other factors that inform the decision are if funds are available in the processing fee account for that material type, and if adjusting the processing payment is necessary to further the objectives of the program. In considering a quarterly payment rate adjustment for October 1st, 2021, when it will take effect, the department found the following: that the glass scrap value was declined by nearly 2%. PET scrap value increased nearly 40%, and HDPE scrap value increased by 25%. The significant PET and HDPE scrap price increases, and in consideration of the other provisions guiding the rate adjustment determination, demonstrated to the department that adhering to our policy and practice of adjusting the rates in response to the scrap price increase or other changes is appropriate. As a result, the payment rate for glass will remain unchanged, while the payment rate for PET will reduce by approximately 10%, and HDPE will see an approximately 9% decline. Additional details on this can be found on the department's website in our BEV container home page of the website. And there is a processing payment adjustment notice that you can find there that provides additional information. We welcome your comments, your feedback, and your questions on this rate adjustment. If you have any of those, please contact Hugh Lee at the email address that is noticed in the processing payment announcement. Turning now to our support and oversight of beverage container participants and operators. CalRecycle is tasked with administering the beverage container recycling program, and one component of that is support and oversight, as these strategies go hand in hand to enable compliance for all program participants and to ensure consumers. Our objective is multifaceted. We want to ensure operators and participants are fully aware of program requirements so that they have the ability to operate successfully. Additionally, we want to ensure a level playing field for all operators and ensure consumers are provided fair and appropriate redemption. Finally, we have a responsibility to ensure the integrity of the beverage container recycling program and the beverage container recycling fund by mitigating and addressing fraud risks. The department provides various avenues of support and oversight of beverage manufacturers, distributors, dealers, and recyclers. We both monitor the money in and the money out, not only to make sure that the program is solvent to provide refund payments to consumers for all the CRV containers returned to recyclers, as well as make the payments specified in statute to entities like local government, the local conservation corps, and nonprofit organizations through grants, but to also mitigate fraud. Today, I'd like to explain to you our support and our oversight efforts in these areas. Beginning first with beverage manufacturers and beverage distributors. They're required to register with CalRecycle and must report how many containers they sell and pay either processing fees or CRV to CalRecycle for each covered item sold. Our staff actively conduct research to determine who should be registered. For example, during the pandemic, many small breweries closed their tap rooms. They began filling containers for customers to enjoy the product at home. Many of those sealed, ready-to-drink beverages fell under the program, and the tap rooms needed to register as beverage manufacturers and distributors and fulfill the labeling requirements to make CRV payments and processing fees. For entities that either do not report accurately or fail to pay, our Office of Audits conducts an audit to determine the scope of noncompliance. Just to give you some context, for calendar year 2019 and 2020, the Office of Audits conducted 125 audits with over 10 million in findings. The department also provides oversight of all dealers that sell CRV beverages to ensure that the retailers are identifying CRV correctly and charging appropriately. Dealers in convenience zones that do not have a certified recycling center must choose to either redeem in store or pay CalRecycle a $100 per day fee. Our staff notify dealers of these obligations based on the timeline set forth in the beverage container program and provide an affidavit for dealers to submit their choice to the department. We provide enforcement and oversight of these dealers, and dealers that choose to redeem in store are inspected by CalRecycle inspectors to ensure they're meeting the requirements set forth in statute. Violations are noted for the dealer and civil penalties may be assessed. Dealers that choose to pay are invoiced monthly and sent statements to notify them of the outstanding balance. The department may file accusations against retailers for failing to pay timely. Much of the participation of our operators begins at the certification level. And this is an opportunity to help facilitate success of these operators. And due to the variety of the recycling operators in the program, CalRecycle provides a multi-pronged approach to support. For recycling centers and processors, the operators are required to attend a pre-certification class. These are offered in both Southern California and Northern California. During COVID, we have pivoted to providing them online, but we're also exploring the opportunities to return to in-person training for this. They're also offered in English and in Spanish. These are an opportunity to learn about the program, take and pass an examination with a score of 80% prior to applying or reapplying for certification. These operators must also prepare a financial readiness plan to submit with their application for certification. All recycling operators are required to apply for certification and registration. And these applications are evaluated, and only those where the operator can demonstrate that they will operate in compliance with the Act and associated regulations are they approved. Once a new operator begins operating, the Technical Assistance and Review Unit performs site visits to provide hands-on training, including reviewing operations and records to determine compliance. Recycling center facilities are visited by our inspections team to verify that they are inspecting and purchasing material correctly. And once a recycling center operator has been in the program for 2 years, the initial probationary period for all new certifications, the probationary review team evaluates the compliance history and determines if the certification should be passed from probation or extended. We then turn our attention to more direct oversight responsibilities. And CalRecycle provides oversight for operators in various forms, including handling fee reviews, the evaluation of the recycling center operators' handling fees to determine if the handling fee subsidy is eligible for, the subsidy is for eligible material. Claim volume reviews, where we're reviewing volume reports of recycling operators. Fraud detection reviews to determine the existence or extent of any fraudulent activity or things that may be fraudulent. Investigations initiated from work performed by the Division of Recycling staff, referrals from the Department of Justice, or tips from the public. And then we also conduct processor oversight to determine if a processor is fully operating within compliance of the Act and regulations. We review documents, inspect materials and claims, all information that is articulated in both statute and regulation. Occasionally, there are times when operators may be non-compliant. In those cases, we take an enforcement role. Our approach to these issues depends on the significance of the infractions. We may issue a notice of non-compliance, so this is essentially a warning, a notice of violation. We may exercise civil penalties or take other disciplinary action. We will work closely to address the matter, work with the operator to make improvements, and address those who fail to make improvements. We also partner with sister agencies to assist us in the program to further deter fraud and preserve the public trust in our oversight of public resources. We work with the California Department of Food and Agriculture, who manages border stations and works with us in imported materials reporting for anyone who's bringing 25 pounds of empty beverage containers into the state of California. The staff at CalRecycle conduct follow-up and review on these imported materials reports. We also partner very closely and effectively with the Department of Justice. We work to eliminate fraud by identifying risks, performing complex investigations, and providing prosecution when warranted. CDFA, DOJ, and even the California Highway Patrol work together with CalRecycle to address and stop out-of-state imported materials from coming into California. As you can see, our approach to support and oversight is a vast array of program participants, and the program oversight is complex. Our ultimate goal is to enable the compliance of the beverage container recycling program and protect California's environment. We're pleased to share that the majority of our program partners also represent these goals. I have one last item to share, which isn't on the agenda, but wanted to inform everyone of the release of the semi-annual report on the Beverage Container Recycling Fund. This too can be found on our website under the Bev Container page. For those unfamiliar, this report is prepared every 6 months and requires the department to provide a fund condition statement on the Beverage Container Recycling Fund, which includes revenues, transfers, and expenditures. Additionally, we provide an assessment of the fund's structural deficit or surplus and its ability to make BCRP payments. It also includes information on recycling rates inferred from revenues, significant changes between current and previous projections, and projected sales, returns, handling fees, and processing payments, and grants awarded. And so in brief, the report release, which covers up to the end of December of 2020, projected a structural surplus of $143.7 million for the 2021 fiscal year. This swing is primarily due to a projected increase in CRV in and a decrease in CRV out. It's important to note that in fiscal year 21-22 and for fiscal year 22-23, CRV in is projected to decrease, resulting in a surplus to the fund, projected structural surplus of $72.3 million and a $74.1 million structural surplus, respectively, for those fiscal years. Also important to note that under these circumstances, any 1% increase or decrease in CRV in results in a corresponding change to the fund of approximately $14.9 million. And a 1% increase or decrease in CRV out results in a corresponding change of $10.4 million. We highlight that to reflect that this is potentially a volatile up and down within the program. The COVID-19 pandemic impacted sales and returns of beverage containers. Consumers on average purchased about 8% more beverages and redeemed 5% less between March and December compared to the same period in 2019. Beverage container redemption decreased by about 15% in March and June 2020, but increased 1.5% between July and December 2020 when compared to the same period in 2019. Based on this, and as articulated in the report, CalRecycle projects the overall recycling rate inferred from CRV in and out to be about 67% for 2021. This projection is about a 9.1% decrease from the previous report. Important to emphasize that this is a point in time. And early data for the forthcoming report suggests the returns may be trending upward. Overall, the sales in the container types for the 2020 year reported in the report were 26.5 billion containers. Returns were are projected to be 18.1, and for fiscal year 2021 were 18.2 billion containers. So notwithstanding that, the department is still seeing a great deal of returns and containers coming into the system. Linda, that concludes my portion of the program. Thank you very much, and I will now turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Ken, and a big welcome to Amy. Now to an update on some of California's extended producer responsibility programs. We have them for paint, carpet, mattresses, and now sharps and pharmaceuticals. Let's start by taking a closer look at the state's Mattress Stewardship program. This quick video breaks down the benefits of making industry responsible for managing their products.
They're big, they're bulky, and Californians buy about 4 million new mattresses and foundations every year. Too often, many of the old mattresses used to wind up here, illegally dumped in our communities, costing California taxpayers millions a year for cleanup.
Well, mattresses aren't easy to handle, and historically, the lack of affordable and convenient recycling options led to a lot of illegal dumping.
And a lot of trash. Since mattresses don't condense well, they take up a lot of landfill space.
So a big waste of resources because mattresses are made of materials that are highly recyclable. Materials like steel, foam, wood.
In 2014, California passed an extended producer responsibility law that took the burden of collecting and landfilling used mattresses off of local governments, instead requiring the mattress industry to collect and recycle them. The Used Mattress Recovery and Recycling Act requires mattress manufacturers, renovators, and retailers to form a stewardship organization to develop and run a statewide recycling program.
The program contains elements to reduce illegal dumping, increase recycling, and to reduce the public costs of managing old mattresses.
Through a $10.50 consumer recycling fee on each new mattress.
And then they pass that money on to a nonprofit stewardship organization called the Mattress Recycling Council.
The stewardship organization operates the recycling program, educating consumers.
Take a look at buybuymattress.com to learn about how and where to recycle your old mattress.
Expanding convenient collection options.
Retailers are required to pick up your old mattress when you have a new mattress delivered. The program also has drop-off options, and 98% of Californians now have a free mattress collection option within 15 miles of their home.
Combating illegal dumping.
This has helped California communities remove close to 200,000 improperly disposed mattresses.
And transforming an old problem into new products like carpet padding, oil filters, appliances, building materials, and mulch for landscaping.
7 million mattresses have been recycled since 2016, and in 2020, MRC achieved a 77.1% recycling rate.
Supporting California's move to a more circular, remanufacturing economy with less trash pollution and more green jobs.
The Mattress Recycling Council, I apologize, my dog is barking in the background, is required to submit annual reports and then also propose program budgets for CalRecycle approval. Deputy Director Matt Hedigan joins us now with more on these items.
Thank you so much, Linda, and thank you to the OPR team for that great video. I loved seeing the mattress recycling in action. All right, so up for consideration is the Mattress Recycling Council's annual report for 2020. The law requires the Mattress Stewardship Organization to demonstrate compliance with statutory requirements, all the regulations, and the various recycling and consumer convenience objectives in its approved stewardship plan. MRC's 2020 annual report details significant pandemic-related challenges, including the temporary closure of 64 mattress collection sites and 11 large volume commercial collection sites. And as you can imagine, the cancellation of almost all of the community mattress collection events scheduled for 2020. But despite those challenges, the Mattress Recycling Council met all of its program requirements. MRC achieved a program high 77.1% recycling rate. The collection increased to over 1.5 million units in that year, and it also increased convenience for consumers and retailers. They also invested over $1 million subsidizing local governments to provide data on illegal dumping of mattresses, and that data will drive future programmatic improvements. So we are, after staff analyzed the report, we are recommending approval of MRC's 2020 annual report for the director's consideration. And you can read the report entirely. It's posted at a link that's on today's agenda. Now, the Mattress Recycling Council also submitted its calendar year 2022 program budget for CalRecycle's approval. The stewardship organization proposes no change in the current mattress recycling charge of $10.50 per unit, $10.50 per mattress and foundation. And it allocates $50 million to increase collection and recycling across the state. Staff determined that the budget dedicates adequate funding to achieve program requirements, and we are recommending approval of the 2022 budget, which will be considered by the director. So congratulations to the MRC for their achievements in 2020. Our next item for consideration is the paint stewardship program's administrative fee. All of these stewardship organizations are required to reimburse the state for the state's costs to oversee and enforce them. As part of California's paint stewardship program, the stewardship organization, known as Paint Care, must pay CalRecycle a quarterly administrative fee to cover the costs for program oversight and enforcement. CalRecycle's staff diligently track their hours every month that they spend working on the paint stewardship program, and based on that tracking, the administrative fee for July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 was $322,000. That sounds like a lot of money, but it represents less than 1% of Paint Care's estimated annual program expenses. And this item will also be sent to the director for her consideration. And thanks to Paint Care, if you have any paint lying around in your garage, Paint Care makes it easy to recycle. The next item is a series of documents submitted by our carpet stewardship organization. Carpet America Recovery Effort, known as CARE, is the stewardship organization for the carpet industry. CARE submitted several documents on June 30th, 2021, including a proposed system of differential assessments and a convenient collection for flooring professionals' final report, as well as implementation plan. All these documents were either required by statute or by CARE's stewardship plan. So statute required CARE to establish a system of differential assessments that take into account the financial burden that a particular carpet material has on the stewardship program, as well as the amount of post-consumer recycled content contained in that new carpet. So you can think of these as different recycling fees, different consumer fees for different carpet types based on what it costs the program to recycle it. If a certain carpet material requires a higher subsidy to incentivize recycling, then that material needs to have a proportionally higher consumer fee assigned to it. Based on staff's analysis of the differential assessment plan submitted by CARE, the director has conditionally approved this new system of differential assessments. CARE proposed a system of differential assessments based on whether the carpet is broadloom, which is the large rolls of carpet, or tile, tile traditionally being harder to recycle. So their system is based on whether it's broadloom or tile, and the recycled content of that new carpet. So what they've proposed is that for carpet that has no recycled content or less than 10% post-consumer content, their proposed assessment would be 35 cents per square yard for broadloom and 50 cents per square yard for carpet tile, reflecting the fact that carpet tile is more costly to recycle. The assessment for carpet with more than 10% post-consumer content would be discounted 2 cents per square yard. The director has conditionally approved CARE's proposed system of differential assessments, and that approval is contingent upon CARE making the following revisions within 60 days. First of all, that they accelerate the implementation date of their proposed system of differential assessments to on or before April 1st, 2022. That is 8 months sooner than CARE proposed establishing their system. The second condition is that they establish a process to review and update the differential assessment amounts as market conditions and subsidies change. And the third is we've asked them to develop a timeline to develop a revised system of differential assessments that is inclusive of additional factors such as the face fiber type, in order to more accurately align the assessment levels with the financial burden that the various carpet materials have on the program for inclusion in its next program plan. So you can read CARE's proposed system of differential assessments and CalRecycle's direction for required revisions linked on today's agenda. So that's it for differential assessments. Moving on to the convenient collection for flooring professionals' final report and implementation plan, the director found that CARE's report and plan did not meet the requirements of its approved stewardship plan. Pursuant to statute, staff is going to review and adjust the program goals, including convenience goals for flooring installers and retailers. And there will be opportunities for the public to comment on those proposed goals via the Carpet Stewardship listserv and CalRecycle's Carpet Stewardship web pages. Thank you for the involvement of all the stakeholders and the industry groups in these carpet issues. Moving on to some grant items. Today we're announcing $1.5 million in household hazardous waste grants. This program was designed to help local governments establish or expand household hazardous waste collection programs, but it also includes money for public education, waste reduction, reuse efforts, recycling of household hazardous waste. Since 2005, this program and our local government partners have kept our communities safe by keeping 1.5 billion pounds of household hazardous waste out of our environment and out of our landfills. This latest grant awards 21 communities to expand HHW storage capacity at their collection sites, pay for personal protective equipment for workers at those sites, provide education and outreach programs, and organize one-day waste roundups. And just to give you a couple examples of the types of projects these grants fund, Solano County is promoting their HHW facility with a multimedia public education campaign to inform the public of best practices for household hazardous waste management. And they'll be focusing on specific materials that are often mishandled in the waste stream, including those 1 pound propane cylinders that are so convenient for camping. A lot of people are mishandling those at end of life. San Diego County is organizing 2 one-day household waste roundups in underserved rural areas of the unincorporated county, some of which are over 40 miles away from the permanent HHW collection facility. So you can see how necessary these funds are to make proper management of HHW accessible to everyone. Okay, congratulations to our grantees. The next item is our a 5-year review of San Luis Obispo's waste management plan. So San Luis Obispo submitted a 5-year review report that concludes that no revisions to the planning documents are necessary at this time, and staff has concurred with that assessment. That decision was delegated to Branch Chief Kara Morgan, and she has approved it. And you can find more detailed information on San Luis Obispo's submittal, as well as all of our agenda items, by going to the CalRecycle homepage, selecting public meetings, clicking on today's date, and downloading the meeting agenda. And in that agenda, there are links to all of these documents. And back to you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Matt. Moving on now to our pending solid waste and tire facilities permits. Check out this quick video to see how California facility standards help keep our communities safe.
Protecting the health of Californians and their land, food, water, and air is a big job. Local, state, and federal agencies play different roles to enforce public health and environmental safety standards. In California, solid waste local enforcement agencies process applications, issue, and enforce permits for solid waste facilities. These include landfills, transfer stations, compost facilities, or similar operations. CalRecycle must verify permits are consistent with state requirements. Permits can only address areas within the authority of local enforcement agencies and CalRecycle. Check out the link below for more detailed information. Emergency waivers allow temporary changes to solid waste permit requirements in response to local or state disasters. Local enforcement agencies may approve the waivers, which are good for up to 120 days and may be extended. CalRecycle must review approved waivers and can condition, limit, suspend, or terminate them. Check out the link for more detailed information. For waste tire facilities, CalRecycle processes applications, issues and enforces waste tire permits. These include requirements to make sure tires are stored and processed in a way that reduces potential threats from fire and disease-carrying vectors like mosquitoes. Check out the link for more detailed information.
CalRecycle is committed to protecting public health and safety by ensuring that California's waste regulations are followed. Deputy Director Mark DeBee joins us now with a statewide update on facility permits. Mark.
Hey, thank you, Linda. Since the last meeting, the department concurred on several permits. We concurred on August 20th, a modified solid waste facility permit for the Golden Bear Recycling Center located at the foot of Parr Boulevard in Richmond, California in Contra Costa County. The department also concurred on August 19th on a new solid waste facility permit for the Athens Irwindale Material Recovery Facility and Transfer Station, which is located at 2200 Arrow Highway in Irwindale, California. That's in Los Angeles County. The third permit that was acted on August 30th, and that was a modified solid waste facility permit for the John Smith Road landfill located at 2650 John Smith Road, Hollister, California in San Benito County. And the last permit that was acted on since the last meeting was on September 20th, just yesterday, the new compostable materials handling facility permit for the new Capistrano Greenery, which is located at 32250 Avida La Plata in San Juan Capistrano, and that's in Orange County. There are two permits that continue to be on the agenda and are being looked at by CalRecycle staff, and that is Shafter Wasco Recycling and Sanitary Landfill, and that's in Shafter, California, Kern County, and Modesto Co-Composting Facility in Modesto, California, Stanislaus County. Shafter Wasco needs to be acted on by October 2nd, and the Modesto Co-Composting Facility needs to be acted upon by November 3rd. There's a new permit to the agenda since the last meeting, and that's the Badland Sanitary Landfill located at 31125 Ironwood Avenue in Moreno Valley in Riverside County. It's a modified permit, and the department needs to take action on that permit by November 6th. A review of the permit package indicates that the proposed changes include an update in the days the facility will be closed, update to the estimated closure year from an estimate of closing on 2022 to now 2026. And there's some updates to the joint technical document for that permit. And we also have a new waiver that was sent to us, and that is for the Western Regional Landfill. We received it, or it was issued by the Placer Local Enforcement Agency on August 17th. And it's a waiver for permitted daily tonnage and vehicle numbers going into the facility. And that waiver will be in place until December 15th. And that is due to the need for that facility to receive material from the wildfires. So that is the summary for all of the permit and waiver action. And so I want to now announce the completion of an illegal disposal site cleanup. The Hollywood Trailer Park site in Marysville was abandoned over a decade ago and became a reoccurring location for illegal dumping. Cleanup after a fire at this site last year exhausted local resources to complete the remediation on the city-owned portion of the park, which lies on the floodplain of the Yuba River. Cleanup took place over the last few weeks through the CalRecycle's illegal disposal site cleanup contractor, and we ended up removing over 38 tons of waste from the site. And CalRecycle has also installed barriers and signage, and the city has committed to continuing patrols to prevent future illegal dumping. And you can see some of the before and after pictures on this slide. And that's what I have to share today, Linda. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. A quick mention about CalRecycle careers now. CalRecycle has a number of openings right now, including a research data analyst, an environmental scientist, and an information officer with marketing and web content skills. For a complete list of open positions and application deadlines, visit calcareers.ca.gov. All CalRecycle job openings are listed under Department of Resources, Recycling, and Recovery. You can also find career positions on our CalRecycle LinkedIn page. Now, before we open it up to public comments, we'd like to remind everyone that you can find more information on each of the agenda items that we discussed today by visiting the CalRecycle homepage, selecting public meetings, and then clicking on today's date to download the meeting agenda. And that's where you can find more in-depth information on today's items, as well as links and contact information should you have any questions. We are working to make the process easier for you, but this is how you can access the information for the time being. And now let's send it over to Ken and Zoe to address the public comments this morning. Ken and Zoe.
Thank you, Linda. We do have a number of comments. Perhaps Zoe, if you want to take the first one from Evan Edgar, and then I'll take the one following that.
All right, that sounds good. So from the California Compost Coalition, Evan Edgar, statement in question. In last month's report on urban wood chips to biomass facilities, it showed that urban wood chips tons have significantly decreased by 914,000 tons from 2016 at the expense of forestry and agriculture wood chips. I would like to know what the landfill alternative there are to wood chips as mentioned in the CalRecycle slide, since Caltrans is mandated to purchase since 1990, but does not actually purchase that much, parentheses, less than 1% of the market, end of parentheses. The subsidy fluctuations are real, as the current biomass contracts require 80% forest sources that crowded our urban wood chips. Proposal data shows that the wood waste increased from 2014 to 2018 by 490,000 tons. SB 1383 will target a new 3.9 million tons of wood waste to be diverted by 2025, and some urban wood could go to mulch or bioenergy. CARB will be phasing out agricultural burning in 5 years, and those new tons will come on the market. The forest will be thinned with those new tons. Both CARB and CEC plan to phase out bioenergy from their portfolio of solutions at a critical time where more tons are coming on the market. What tools and studies can CalRecycle provide for urban wood waste, given 3.9 million more tons are coming on the market after losing 914,000 tons of bioenergy and gaining 490,000 in landfill disposal? With decreasing bioenergy market and being crowded out by agricultural and forestry waste in a competitive market. PRC 42510-42511 and many statutes on market development has CalRecycle responsible for the urban wood waste as part of non-yard wood waste disposal minimization law. What report or information can CalRecycle provide CARB as part of the third update on the scoping plan with a focus on 2030 and 2045 on the role of bioenergy, and to CEC as part of their IPER, parentheses, Integrated Energy Policy Report, end of parentheses, process underway? Thanks, Evan Edgar. Evan, thanks so much for your question. A lot to unpack here. Really appreciate the analysis that you provided. I would like to offer a follow-up conversation with you so we can take a deeper dive into some of this and discuss a little bit more in detail. But you know what I will say for now is alternatives to disposal of wood waste, especially with uncertainty in future biomass capacity, will be an important component of the scoping plan modeling efforts to chart a path for the state to achieve carbon neutrality. We look forward to working with CARB and other stakeholders on this through the scoping plan process, and would love to chat with you more. So let's follow up after this meeting.
Great, thanks, Zoe. The next question comes from Leonard Lang. In a previous conversation with the department, we discussed how the training and testing program was instructing attendees to turn away customers if they didn't believe they had consumed the contents, even if the load was within daily limits. Has this been corrected, and has this been passed on to has this information been passed to attendees? They've been notified. Mr. Lang, if I'm understanding your question correctly, I believe you may be referring to something that the department addressed several months ago through a rescission of notice to recycling operators. If my memory is incorrect on that, please let me know and we can discuss it further. Question from Susan Collins. CalRecycle recently released the semi-annual report on the status of the Beverage Container Recycling Fund. The financial data in the report are inaccurate for the fiscal year 1920, which ended 14 months ago. CalRecycle's Beverage Container Fund main fund balance was $454 million as of June 30th, 2021, not the amount of $278 million that was published in the report. CalRecycle's report underreports the fund balance by $176 million. Susan, I'm not sure the report from which you're deriving the 1920 number. As I mentioned in the presentation, a lot of this is very much point in time, and numbers are reconciled and resolved based on payments that are received, expenditures that occur after the fact. So perhaps we can talk this through a little bit more. It'd be a good opportunity for you to meet Amy Cameron, the new Assistant Director for the Division of Recycling, and better understand the context and frame of reference from which your numbers presented here come. Zoe, did you want to take the next one, please?
Sure, gladly. Okay, our next question is from Christy McFagan with School District. The question is, what is the expectation for school districts in California for SB 1383 on January 1, 22? Really great question. So school districts are considered local education agencies within SB 1383 and have certain requirements, for example, subscribing to an organic waste collection service or self-hauling. Please see Article 5 of the regulations for more information about local education agencies and other requirements. Also, local education agencies with on-site food facilities will be considered commercial edible food generators starting in 2024, and that's in Article 10 on the regulations. We also have Q&As on our website that could provide some more details for you, and we also have a schools team that would be happy to meet with you and provide a presentation if needed. So feel free to follow up with me or Ashley Yee, and we'll make sure you have the information that you need.
Thanks, Zoe. From Veronica Pardo, a very hearty welcome to Amy Cameron as the Division of Recycling Assistant Director. Thank you, Veronica. From Mike O'Donnell, regarding consideration of the Mattress Recycling Council's 2020 annual report and 2022 budget. On behalf of the MRC, I'd like to express my appreciation to CalRecycle Department staff for their oversight and support of the California Mattress Recycling Program and review of MRC's 2020 annual report and 2022 budget. Known as Bye Bye Mattress to the public, our program has been operational in California for over 5 years. During this time, we've recycled over 7 million mattresses and diverted 300 million pounds of material from California landfills. Our program is creating green jobs and driving a circular economy for discarded mattresses. 2020 was a challenging year due to a multitude of statewide and global disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite this, MRC's mattress recycling program continued to evolve and grow. We appreciate the department's leadership and support since the start of the mattress recycling program and throughout 2020. We look forward to working with the department and stakeholders to continue to improve and expand mattress recycling opportunities and infrastructure in the state. Thank you for your time today. Michael O'Donnell, MRC Managing Director. Michael, thank you very much for your comments. Zoe, did you want to take this next one?
Sure.
I don't know the answer to this. I don't know who might.
Yeah, the next question is from Virginia, and she asks, does anyone in Southern California recycle solar modules? I've been on the search for a while. Do you have any recommendations, or is that a pilot program idea? Virginia, thanks so much for your question. We certainly recognize that this is going to become a very important issue for California and one that's important for us as a state family to get ahead of. I don't have an answer for you at this time. I'll invite Matt Hennigan if he has anything to add. If not, we will commit to getting back to you with some recommendations. But here's Matt.
Yeah, I think we do have some leads for you, and so we'll follow up offline.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Zoe. Moving to a comment from Mark Murray regarding bottle bill processing payments. We urge the department to continue the precedent set in June 2017 and June 2019 and exercise the authority to suspend the adjustment of the PET and HDPE processing payments for the fourth quarter of 2021. Reducing processing payments will cost the state's recycling infrastructure as much as $1 million per month. We believe that adjusting processing payments at this time does not further the objectives of the program. CRV recycling infrastructure continues to suffer from significant revenue shortfalls and closed centers. The department has few options for supporting the recycling infrastructure independent of legislative action. This adjusting or not of the processing payments is one rare opportunity. Mark, thank you for your comments. We will take those under advisement. Zoe, would you mind with the carpet stewardship documents?
Sure. So the next question is from Joanne Brash with the California Product Stewardship Council. And the comment is, the California Product Stewardship Council has consistently monitored and reviewed carpet stewardship program documents for years and is concerned with the lack of clear metrics and goals for the proposed changes to the CARE plan, as pointed out by CalRecycle and the RFA. The documents submitted on June 30th were national precedent-setting measures, and we applaud CalRecycle for the thorough review and requiring an expedited timeline for the differential assessments. Differentials have been a detailed discussion from the advisory committee and previously the Carpet Council, and should not be a challenge given the level of expert input CARE has received over the last 5 years. We have additional concerns with the length and organization of the documents that make it difficult for the public to participate if they don't have all the background information. Joanne, thank you for your comment. Inviting Matt back if he has anything more to add.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think we identified some of the same issues, and invite you to participate in that goal setting process, and just stay engaged with the advisory council and keep on submitting your comments. So yeah, we will certainly take all this under advisement.
And if Matt, you wouldn't mind staying on, we have one more comment as it relates to the carpet stewardship program. This is from Amy at Californians Against Waste. As a supporter of the original legislation to create California's carpet stewardship program, Californians Against Waste appreciates CalRecycle's continuous oversight of the program and efforts to develop the state's carpet recycling system. We also welcome CalRecycle prioritizing urgent updates to the program, including accelerating the implementation of a differential assessment. Such updates have been requested for many years from experts and the public and are necessary to meet the statutory carpet recycling goals. Thanks for your comment, Amy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think accelerating the differential assessments is prudent, and getting we don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good. Getting it up and running while it's being improved, it makes sense to iterate rather than wait to get a perfect system in place. So I appreciate I appreciate your appreciation of our staff's efforts to oversee and analyze all these documents as well.
Great, thanks, Matt, and I apologize. I think I may have interrupted you as you were speaking. That does it for the portal. So Linda, we will turn it back to you. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for handling all the questions and comments. And we want to thank everyone who participated in the public meeting today. We hope you enjoy the new format that's designed to make communication more accessible, inclusive, and as relevant as possible. And we welcome your feedback. So please feel free to leave us a comment on the public comment portal. And in the meantime, have a great rest of your morning and week, and we will see you again next month. Goodbye, everyone.